Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Soul Potential CEO podcast. I'm Tia Marie, and I'm popping in here today to have a chat about creating from your soul, the business of dreams to vision. This is going to be a personal story. I'm going to share 3 tips with you, 3 things that I've learned throughout this journey. But this conversation has been sparked recently through an awareness of stages and phases that I'm moving through in my business and getting to the point where I'm really coming full circle on the process and observing what that process, like the pathway, the trajectory that process has taken in my life, and having a lot of like deep musings and insights about what that has become. And I want to share them with you. So when I started this business many years ago, when I started what would become Sinatia, I have gone through so many different versions and visions of what this would be, how I would articulate it, how I would market it. And that path has at times felt like a journey of walking one step in front of the other in faith that I am on the right track without applying a lot of mental strategy and stress and worry about how I would get there or what the outcome was. And this is not a normal traditional way of doing business. I just want to say that first off. This is probably not what your coach would recommend, not what your online business strategist would recommend. And I'm aware of that, but I'm just speaking to my pure experience. I think that for me, because I was coming from an industry where I had had a lot of success, but wasn't feeling successful, I had had a lot of achievement, but wasn't feeling like I achieved what I wanted to achieve, right? So there was this sense of like, yeah, I did a lot of things. I can do a lot of things, but I don't want to keep doing things the way that I've been doing them before. And so how can I have a different experience? How can I make that totally different in me? And I want to make sure that I do it differently this time. And so I started with Essence and Magic for Sinatia, or what became Sinatia. And I run a brand agency where I help online entrepreneurs create from their soul's potential. And we help with the technology, and we help with the branding, and we help with the program development, and we help with the positioning. And, we really support you in a bespoke way, like in a high touch way for extended period of time to get your foundation set up. But I also have Sinatia, which is like my business that I would be helping somebody else's business inside of the agency. So I have the agency that supports the business, but then I have my business that is my project, my heart project, my soul mission. And because I didn't know where to start, I started with art. Like I literally just had a moment where I thought, well, I have some ideas about what this business could become, but I'm not sure how to get going. So I'm just going to explore what emerges from my dark and deep sensory awareness. So I saw things like colors, vibrations, frequency, flashing images, dreams, things that excited me, what I would call like childlike wonder and delightment. And I pursued that deeply. Like I explored all different ways of creating experiential consciousness journeys for my clients and for myself so that I could arrive to the place where I fully understood the larger vision. An experiential consciousness journey really can enhance and sharpen the mind and the senses, when we learn to think in alternative ways, when we learn to think in multidimensional ways and ride the line between strategy and essence. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because this might resonate with you. You might be somebody who gets downloads and dreams and has a calling to step into a bigger vision, but you're not sure exactly how to get there. And you've tried a lot of the things that people recommend. You've tried a lot of the strategies that online business coaches recommend, and the planning, like you've tried the planning and the planning and the planning, but it never really ends you up in the place where you feel like it's fully expressed in you. And what I have learned over the years is that one step in planning and one step in expression, or one step in planning and one step in soul potential, will take you to places beyond what you could imagine. And it's completely worth the journey. And in hindsight and retrospect, as I watch the motion of what I've created, I've seen how that ability to stay in vision and essence and just create what comes to me now and move with the speed of what wants to come and make mistakes and learn and continue to iterate and continue to fine tune, knowing that I will get to the place that I need to go, was a protection to my capacity. It was a protective environment for my genius, because I never settled for what I couldn't feel was really deeply, deeply true for me. I've been talking with clients recently about how it really feels, this is what it feels like to me in this moment, to arrive to this place where I understand the larger vision connected to the mission, connected to my work. It's like having a dream. So it's like if you wake up in the morning and you know you had an epic dream, like you had a dream where you lived lifetimes, but you can't remember all of it. You can only remember little pieces. There's a piece of the dream that you remember right when you wake up. And that piece of the dream is like the first step to take. This is how it has felt to me in my business. The piece of the dream. So there's a big vision here. There's a soul's dream. There's a child's dream. There's a dream of original magic that I am cultivating and creating in my life. And the dream, the vision of that dream stretches infinite landscapes, and I can't see it all. So when you wake up from that dream, or the way that I have moved through my business is that I just connect to what I can remember of that dream. And that's the thing that I do. And then the other foot steps forward in the plans that I can make as far as I can go to execute at the level that I can execute, the best I can do on a human level, based on the skills that I have in this moment right now, to step forward as I move. And then in the metaphor of having a dream, then as I move about my day, I find myself in the kitchen moving my body. I make a motion to grab like an apple or something, and then I remember in my dream, it flashes. Have you ever had this experience? Like part of that dream flashes back before my eyes, and I go, oh yeah, there was this bright red color in my dream, and that reminds me that I was on a boat in my dream, and I was on a yacht, and it was a beautiful cruise, and there was a red beach ball, and I was having so much fun. And then I step forward in that part of the dream that I can remember. And then the other footsteps steps forward in as much planning and as much knowing that I have in this next moment to take the next step. And it continues to unfold, moving, 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 walking forward, remembering fragments, remembering pieces, having flashes of the dream until you arrive to the place where you can remember the whole dream. It's this beautiful in-between state that I have found that I excel in. I create very well from this place. It doesn't meet or match always the expectations of a quote unquote normal life, but I believe it is natural to the soul to create in this way, and it is natural to the soul to create in cycles. And this is something I talk a lot about in my work. It is natural to the soul to create in a moment to moment cycle, a daily cycle, a monthly cycle, a yearly cycle, instead of a linear plan where we're planning ahead and knowing what the outcome is going to be and doing a lot of work to construct something very complex to get us where we want to go. And the reason for that, I believe, is that we're moving into times where so much is going to change. It's not actually going to serve us to plan that far ahead. Where we get stuck sometimes is not having a good relationship between like executing. So like too much planning or too little planning, too little dreaming and too little vision, like too light on the artistic expression, too light on the ability to let go of what we think we know and dive deeper, like sink deeper into more genius to see what else wants to be expressed from the soul, because there's something else in there that's deeper than the thing that you think you know. But you can't just go inward and sink deeper and deeper and deeper always and not action anything out, because then we don't create in physical, like we're not having the influence or the impact we want, but at the same time, we cannot know our true soul potential if we aren't willing to stay committed to it. So what life has become for me is like a very interesting dance between those two states. And the other important thing that I would say that I've learned is that building human skill on the soul journey, so I mean like seeing your weak spots, seeing your blind spots, because for me there have been many and there still are. And using that as an opportunity to improve, always with a positive outlook, meaning like, oh, great. Sometimes it feels hard, sometimes it's disappointing, sometimes it can stress you out. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna gain some muscle, I'm gonna build some muscle memory, I'm one step away from unlocking another level. Like I'm getting XP points every time I move through one of these challenges. If you can stay in that, then eventually you rise to meet yourself. Like the energy rises to match your vision. And the dream crystallizes as you're moving through that process of skill building. Because, like I said, you remember the dream usually as you're going about your day, putting yourself in different situations. And when the scenarios in your life are aligned with the bigger vision, even if you can't see it all, even if you can't see it all in the moment and all you can see is little tiny pieces, if you're committed to living from that state as you're moving through the process of building the skills to become that, more and more reveals itself, more unveils itself. It's pure magic. It is the funnest thing ever. I love it. And I also realize that it's very difficult. Like for me, I need to have support on this journey. So my 3 tips for you that I'm going to give you to walk away with. If you resonate with this, I'd love to hear from you. You can always reach out to me in socials. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can email me at magicandsinatia.com. I have some really exciting things coming out in this next couple of months. And so the end of this year for me is going to be a really big year. But I want to leave you with what I've learned. Number 1, work with somebody who understands how to unearth genius and soul potential. You will just be frustrated if you do not find somebody who aligns to your unique wiring and understands the capacity of your bigger vision. The other thing that I want to say is do not give up. Like you have to be committed. You have to work really hard to create epic things in the world. And for me, the reality of that, or the truth of that, something that doesn't bother me at all, is that when I am in the zone, hard work doesn't feel like hard work. It feels like I'm doing exactly what I should be. And if I learn how to respect my inner rhythm, and I learn how to take breaks, and I learn how to give myself grace, I do not end up in these burnout cycles that people talk about. And typically people end up in burnout cycles because they're executing and doing business in a way that actually doesn't work for them. Right? Because they're not operating from a framework. They don't have the support, like I said, people who understand how to unearth genius and soul potential and support you. They don't have that support. So they're creating from a template that doesn't work. And you can tell. You can tell by how you feel. You can tell by the energy that you have access to. Number 2 is never settle for mediocre content. Like, if you have visions and dreams of epic things that you create, don't settle for the easy way. Um, don't settle for the mainstream solution. Really be dedicated and committed to innovation and be creative. Like, do not doubt your own creativity. It doesn't mean um, that you don't build foundation and that you live like a mad scientist never creating anything anyone can understand, and you speak in such a way that is so wild and out there that like people just are confused by you. You can have all the gold in the world, but if people don't understand what you're saying, it doesn't amount to much. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying don't settle inside of yourself. Know that you are capable of epic things. And the third thing I'm going to say is like really stay committed to the journey. It is the absolute best way to live your life, and creating from your soul, being in the business of dreams and vision, being able to bring that vision into focus, that dream into focus, and remembering what that is as you move along is like, it's like letting your child play, letting your magical child play in the world. So nothing feels better than this. And that is my experience. So, like I said, I'd love to hear what you think about this. If you've ever felt this or sensed this, or if you understand what I'm talking about, I'd love to connect. So, reach out to me and I'll see you in the next chat.